On the third day after my death, Liu are you? Wyan suddenly remembered that I was still locked in the dark basement. Does Ito Makoto know he's wrong? She asked the housekeeper. The housekeeper trembled and replied, Mr. Ito is dead. Liu are you? Wyan is the second female lead in Nanping Shuangwen, who is both crazy and affectionate. She and the male lead grew up together at work, childhood sweethearts. You are you? Wyan loves the male lead very much and always thought that the male lead loves her, but she didn't expect that the childhood sweetheart couldn't resist the drop from the sky. As soon as the female lead appeared, the male and female leads quickly fell in love. You are you? Wyan couldn't stand this blow and couldn't bear to hurt the male lead. She vented all her resentment and pain on herself, and her personality became darker, crazier, and crueler day by day. 7 years ago, I traveled into this book and was responsible for conquering Liu Are you and unmaking her fall in love with me. In order to complete the task, I used all my heart to accompany her, comfort her, and redeem her. I helped her get out of the pain of losing the male lead, and she also promised to try to fall in love with me. Today is the deadline for me to conquer Liu Are you Yan. When she was about to give up the hero sent her the wrong message. I'm sick, so uncomfortable. She was desperate to go to the hero. No matter how hard I begged, she was indifferent. Ito Makoto, let go. Liu Are you? Yan's cold voice was without any emotion. Don't forget that you are just a substitute. You are worthless in front of Songcheng. But you promised me that you would love me. Before I finished speaking, my body was pushed away by Liu Are you Yan frantically. Pay attention to your identity. Liu Are you Yan left a word, stepped over my body inferently and was about to leave. Liu Are you Yan. I shouted, hugged her again in a panic, put down all my dignity, and begged her humbly, please don't go. I will die if you go. Liu Are you Yan laughed sarcastically and cruelly, she said. Itame cruelly, she said. Itamakaka, what's the matter? I'm leaving. Are you going to commit suicide? Even if you commit suicide, you can't threaten me. Liu Are you Yan didn't listen to any of my explanations to me. You are just a pastime for me to kill time. With a look from her, the servants came over and imprisoned me fiercely, unable to move. Liu Are you Yan, tie him up and put him in the basement. Liu Are you Yan ordered coldly, let him reflect on himself. What kind of person is he? I was tied up by the servants in the villa, watching Liu Are you Yan's back disappearing quickly. The basement was dark. This is where Liu Are you Yan would lock herself in every time she had an attack. Because she loved the hero so deeply, once she started to miss him, in order to restrain herself from looking for him and from doing anything extreme to him, she locked herself up and hurt herself crazily. Every time at this time, I would accompany her, protect her, and prevent her from hurting herself. She couldn't get released, so she vented all her cruelty on me. Every time I waited for her to calm down, I almost lost half my life. I accompanied her for 7 years like this. It is said that human cells will complete the overall metabolism once every 7 years, so 7 years is enough to forget a person. I suddenly laughed, and my laugh was a little sad. Host, Liu Are you Yan has arrived at the hero's home and accompanied the hero with a high fever to the hospital. The strategy mission failed, and I am about to end your life. The system sounded a prompt. I responded. There are still 2 hours left. Maybe there is still hope. The system said, as long as Liu Are you Yan returns to you within 2 hours, the mission will not be considered a failure. I shook my head. No, Liu Are you Yan will always be with Songcheng, and no matter how hard I try, I can't warm her heart. I am not giving up on myself. This is the fact. At 12 o'clock in the morning, my soul left the original owner as expected. I thought I would be wiped out. After all, any capturer is given an extra chance to live by God, and there will be no second time. But my soul has been floating in the sky and has not dissipated. The punishment for mission failure is that the soul must stay in this world forever until the captured person dies. The system saw my doubts and said to me, Host, I'm leaving, and the next host is still waiting for me. After the system left, I was really the only lonely soul left. At this moment, I also floated into the hospital uncontrollably and into a ward. I saw Liu Are you Yan again, and her affectionate eyes looked closely at the sleeping Songcheng. She stayed by his side all night without closing her eyes, fearing that Song Chen would be gone if she closed her eyes and that she would not have the chance to see him like this next time. After Song Chen woke up, he was surprised to see Liu Yuan. Why are you here? You sent me a message. Song Chen was stunned for a moment, then realized, I sent it to the wrong person. I sent it to Zhou Wo. I saw the disappointment flashing in Liu Yuan's eyes, but she was not angry, and a faint smile rose at the corner of her mouth. Well, I'll notify her for you. Liu Yuan called Zhou Wo. The moment she left, Yuan, Sung Kang called her. Liu Yuan's body was stiff. She was very nervous, and she was always so cautious in front of the male protagonist. Itao Makoto is very good. You live well with him, Song Cheng said with a smile. Liu Yuan nodded, but I could clearly see from her eyes that no matter how good I am not as good as Song Cheng. She just didn't want Song Cheng to have any psychological burden. After Liu Yuan left the hospital, she returned to the villa. The villa was so quiet. She sat on the sofa for a long time, probably to calm down the emotional fluctuations after seeing Song Cheng. It was not until 12 noon that the housekeeper carefully called her to have lunch. She came back to her senses and asked casually, Does Ita Makoto know his mistake? The housekeeper replied, Mr. He has been in the basement, and he has not begged for mercy, nor has he made a fuss. Liu Yuan raised her eyebrows. No, Mr. He has been very quiet. The housekeeper said respectfully, Miss, do you need to ask Mr. Jinao? No. Liu Yuan said coldly, Let's see how long he can be stubborn. The housekeeper didn't dare to say more. I laughed sarcastically in the air, and I had to admit that I really had no dignity in front of her. When I was selected as a strategist by the system and entered this book, I was very clear about my status and position. I was very clear that if I couldn't conquer Yuan, I would die again. People who have died once cherish their lives more, so in order to get closer to her more easily, I made the original owner look somewhat similar to the male protagonist, and then deliberately hit the car she drove and fabricated the life experience of my parents' death and tried every means to stay with Yuan. In fact, there's no such character as me in the original text. In this world, I am the only one. Rather than saying that the strategy of attacking Liu Yuan is to allow myself to live again, it is better to say that I hope that while I am alive, I can still have a real home and someone who really loves me. I was too lonely in my last life. I really used all my sincerity to love Yuan. No matter how much she looked down on me, no matter how much she loved the male protagonist, even if she did something to hurt me, I would choose to forgive and tolerate in the end. Even later, I couldn't tell whether my love for her was mixed with purpose. For a while, I almost forgot that I was doing a task, if it weren't for the occasional alarm sound from the system. I only know that my heart was broken when she insisted on accompanying the hero. I watched Liu Yuan sitting at the dining table, eating lunch slowly as usual, elegant and indifferent, with a calm heart. In her mind, I don't need to live at all. Anyway, I will soon go to please her in disgrace, as if nothing has happened, just like every time before. I suddenly remembered that half a year ago, the hero and I fell into the water on the yacht at the same time. In this article, there are also bad guys who will use various means to frame the hero. When the hero was deliberately pushed into the sea by him, I reached out to save him, but we both fell into the sea without paying attention. In the original setting, the hero can do everything, but he can't swim, and I can't either. When the heroine and Liu Yuan found out, they jumped into the sea as soon as possible, and the two of them swam directly to the hero without saying anything. In the sea, watching them getting farther and farther away from me, I thought I was going to die that time. Fortunately, I was rescued by the lifeguard in the end, but I was unconscious for a long time after being rescued. When I woke up again, I saw a trace of guilt in Liu Yuan's eyes for the first time. Although she didn't say anything and I didn't blame her, she did treat me much better for a long time afterwards. If it weren't for the wrong message sent by the male lead this time, maybe we would get better and better. With a trace of regret in my heart, I suddenly wanted to know what kind of expression Liu Yuan would have when she saw my body. Probably just an indifferent face. At night, the villa was unusually quiet. In the study, Liu Yuan habitually dealt with some work matters at night. After losing the male lead, she would spend a lot of time on work, and because of this, her career ambitions developed very brilliantly, which was beyond the reach of the male lead. Her hand that was typing on the keyboard suddenly paused, and then she got up and walked to the French window. It was dark outside, but she looked for a long time. After that, Liu Yuan took out a cigarette and started smoking. Smoking was a bad habit that Liu Yuan had developed in order to forget the male lead. Because I had been with her for too long and had put all my thoughts on her, I could tell her emotions even from her ordinary actions and subtle expressions. At this moment, she was obviously more irritable than before. Was it because she had met the male and her emotions were still surging? After she finished smoking a cigarette, she lit the second one. Someone knocked on the door. Miss, come in. The housekeeper came in with a cup of hot milk and a cookie. Miss, come and have something to eat. Did Ito Makoto ask you to deliver it? Liu Yuan asked sarcastically. No, the housekeeper denied, mister. Ye have been quiet in the basement. I suddenly remembered that, mister. He would deliver midnight snacks to you on time every night, so I took the initiative to deliver them to you. I saw that Liu Yuan seemed to have a hint of irritability in her eyes. Mister, you made these cookies the day before yesterday. He failed many times and finally finished them overnight. Please try them. The housekeeper said again. Take them away. Liu Yuan gave the order without even looking at them. Miss, don't you understand what I said? The housekeeper quickly picked up the milk and biscuits that he had put down and couldn't help saying when he left, Mister, he has been in the basement for almost 2 days without eating or drinking. I'm worried about Mister. That's his business. He deserves to starve to death. Liu Yuan said angrily, since he wants to be stubborn with me, I want to see how hard his bones are. After that, he added fiercely, no one is allowed to go to the basement without my permission. Seeing Liu Yuan so angry, the housekeeper didn't dare to say anything more. He could only leave respectfully. After leaving, Liu Yuan extinguished the remaining half of the cigarette but heavily, and then returned to the computer and continued to deal with work as if nothing had happened. She really didn't care about my life or death. Why should I expect her reaction after I die? I should have given up long ago. The night was getting deeper and deeper, but Liu Yuan didn't seem to want to sleep. She pulled her hair irritably, and she pulled it several times, but she didn't pull the hair and off. When I was around, I was the one who took care of her food and daily life. The night before, I would prepare suitable clothes for her according to her schedule for the next day. After she got up, I would help her wash and dress as soon as possible. Occasionally, when she needed to put her hair up, I would help her. After 7 years of meticulous care, she was almost unable to take care of herself. At this moment, she really pulled her scalp so hard that she didn't take off the hairband. She kicked the chair in a rage, and when the chair made a loud noise, the phone suddenly rang at this moment. She didn't look at the caller ID and answered it with a heavy tone. Hello, this is Song Yanchuan. The male protagonist's magnetic voice came from the other side. I saw that Liu Yuan's mood changed all of a sudden, and the irritability and anger just now suddenly disappeared, and her eyes were full of tenderness. In front of the male lead, Liu Yuan never had a temper, and all her bad tempers were given to me. Even though she was ruthlessly abandoned by the male lead, she just endured it silently, and even at any time as long as the male lead wanted to see her, she would go even if it rained knives from the sky. What's wrong? Did something happen? Song Chung asked with concern. No, Liu Yuan's voice softened, and the whole person calmed down instantly. She directly changed the subject. You are so late. What do you want to see me for? Before the male lead spoke, she asked nervously, how is your body? Are you still having a fever? I called to tell you that I was discharged from the hospital, and the doctor said that there was nothing wrong, but I was it was a sequel of a cold, and it would be fine in a few days. Take good care of yourself. Liu Yuan said with concern. Well, I know. Song Chan replied and said gratefully, "You left so quickly today. I didn't have time to thank you properly." Liu Yuan held the phone tightly and didn't speak. "I know it too well. But the reason why she left so abruptly is because she is afraid that the longer she stays with the male lead, the more reluctant she will be to leave him, and she doesn't want to cause any trouble to the male lead. She would rather bear all the pain herself or vent it on me. By the way," Song Chang seemed to suddenly remember and said quickly, "My 26th birthday is tomorrow. I hope you can come to my birthday party." Liu Yuan held the phone tighter. "I didn't want to hold this birthday party, but Wo insisted on celebrating for me. You should be free, right?" Song Chang asked. "Free?" Liu Yuan replied in a low voice. "That's great. Remember to bring Ito Makoto with you tomorrow. Last time he almost drowned in the seawater to save me, and I never found a chance to thank him properly." "Okay." Liu Yuan hesitated for a second, but still agreed to the male lead's request. How could she refuse, even if she didn't want to see me at all? "It's late. Go to bed early. See you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow." Yuan put down her phone, and for a long time her eyes were still looking at Song Cheng's call. In fact, I should have given up long ago. Yuan's eyes were different when she looked at the male lead. She was full of affection even when she saw the male lead's name. For 7 years, what am I? I looked at Yuan in a stalemate for a long time. The screen was black, and she suddenly walked out of the study. "Uncle Wang," she shouted loudly. The housekeeper hurriedly trotted out of the room and looked up at Liu Yuan on the second floor. "Miss, I'm here. Go tell Ito Makoto that if he knows he is wrong and promises not to be jealous or unreasonable again, you can let him out." "Yes." The housekeeper quickly agreed. I laughed, floating above Liu Yuan, laughing so ironically. "Yuan, I can't promise you that I can't please you as if nothing happened after you hurt me. I'm just a cold corpse now." Liu Yuan returned to the study. Probably because the male protagonist called her, she is obviously much calmer now. She slid the mouse slowly, and her mood seemed to improve. After a while, the housekeeper knocked on the door and came in. I saw the panic and even fear in the housekeeper's eyes. He should have found out that I was dead. "Miss." The housekeeper hesitated, probably because he didn't know how to say it. "Did Ito Makoto listen?" Liu Yuan asked him casually. "Mr. Yi, what are you still throwing a tantrum?" Liu Yuan sneered with sarcasm in her eyes. "No, miss. Tell Ito Makoto that if he continues to do this and doesn't know when to stop, even if he starves to death in the basement, I will take care of him," Liu Yuan said fiercely. The housekeeper trembled and said, "Trembling lie, but mister, he is really dead." I saw a flash of panic in Liu Yuan's eyes, just a second, and then her eyes were full of disgust. What tricks is Ito Makoto playing again? He thinks that he can win my sympathy and make me submit to him by pretending to be dead. Mister, he is really dead. I just went to the basement to see that Mr. Yi's body was cold and stiff," the housekeeper said excitedly. Yuan stared at the housekeeper closely. The housekeeper said sincerely again, "Mr. He is really impossible." Liu Yuan denied it. "It's true." Liu Yuan got up from the chair and strode out of the study, and the housekeeper hurriedly followed. She quickly walked to the basement. The light in the basement was very dim. Standing at the door, she could only see me lying on the ground from a distance, tied with hemp ropes. After I died, I was forced to follow Yuan. This was the first time I saw what I looked like after death. From here, nothing can be seen clearly, as if I was just asleep. "Ito Makoto, stop pretending." Liu Yuan's voice was still cold. "I will count to 3, and you sit up by yourself. I can let bygones be bygones for what happened yesterday." I was really amused by her. Until now, she still thought I was lying to her. She still thought that if she gave me a way out, I would come back to her like a pug wagging my tail. Liu Yuan's voice became heavier and heavier with anger. She saw that I was still indifferent. "Ito Makoto, don't be shameless." Liu Yuan gritted her teeth. 3. How could my corpse react? Liu Yuan's eyes were red. She was angry because I resisted her for the first time. Mister, you go tell him that if he doesn't come out tonight, he won't come out again. Liu Yuan left a word, turned around and left, so heartless she didn't even want to look at me to confirm whether I was really dead. My soul floated away with Liu Yuan, and I saw her return to the bedroom. The hairband that I couldn't pull off just now was pulled off by her in a few seconds, and then thrown heavily on the ground. She walked into the bathroom to wash up. She took a quick shower, and after washing, she habitually called out bath towel. After waiting for a few seconds, she took it directly from the bathroom shelf, wiped her body roughly, changed into pajamas, and lay on the bed. She turned off the lights, closed her eyes, and fell asleep. Soon she fell asleep, and the sound of even breathing came. I don't care whether I live or not. I really don't care about her at all. The next day, the Yuan's alarm clock rang. No one would press the alarm clock for her at the first time, and then feel sorry for her because she is too tired at work, so let her sleep for 10 more minutes. Her alarm clock kept ringing. Hito Mikoto, are you dead? Liu Yan screamed angrily in her sleep. Yes, I'm dead, dead. The alarm continued to ring, and Liu Yuan finally couldn't help sitting up from the bed, took the phone, and turned off the alarm. She turned her head and looked at the place where I used to sleep. At the moment when she was about to get angry, she saw an empty bed. She choked back the words that were about to come out of her mouth, pursed her lips, but did not stay for too long, and directly lifted the quilt and got up from the bed. Liu Yuan went to the bathroom to wash up briefly, and then walked into the cloakroom. She was choosing clothes in the cloakroom, choosing for a long time, trying one set after another. Today, I'm going to attend the male protagonist's birthday lie down, so she has to dress up carefully. Liu Yuan is not a traditional beauty, but she has a good figure, white skin, and a very elegant temperament which will make people fascinated at first sight. She changed into a black dress, showing her curvy figure, stood in front of the full-length mirror, and kept looking at herself for a long time. Is she still not satisfied? I watched her put the small sling on her shoulder under her shoulder, and then put it back on her shoulder and satisfied, and repeated it. She tugged at her clothes twice angrily, walked out of the cloakroom, and then quickly put on a beautiful make-up and went downstairs. Downstairs, the housekeeper was waiting for her at the stairs. Mr. Yi is still going, right? No, it's Mr. Why, I don't worry about him. He can die if he wants. Liu Yuan walked straight to the table without giving the housekeeper a chance to speak. The housekeeper sighed and followed Liu Yuan helplessly, keeping quiet. After breakfast, Liu Yuan left the villa. My soul followed her all the time. She went to the company first and dealt with a lot of work matters, busy all the time until the male lead called her. Are you Yan? You haven't arrived yet, Song Cheng asked her. At this moment, she seemed to remember that she was going to attend the male lead's birthday party. She used to never forget anything about the male lead. Now she should blame herself, right? I looked at her and quickly agreed, I'll be there soon. Well, we'll wait for you. After Liu Yuan put down her phone, she quickly drove to the male lead's birthday party. It was really a whirlwind along the way, and I was a little afraid of being hit to death. When we arrived at the destination, the birthday party was very lively. As soon as the male lead saw Yuan, he quickly took the female lead's hand and walked over. Are you Yuan? You're finally here. Sorry, I'm late. Yuan said, this is your birthday present. The birthday present has been in Yuan's car. I prepared it for her before. She gives gifts to the male protagonist every year, and I am used to helping her choose them in advance every year. The male protagonist took the gift and was very happy. He opened it quickly, and there was a string of sandalwood beads inside. The sandalwood beads were bought by Yuan at the last auction. She casually said that Song Cheng would like it, and I kept it in mind. Then I went to the temple to find the best master, consecrated it, and tied a peace charm. Because the male protagonist is about to get married, I think Yuan can't give the male protagonist a wedding, so she let the male protagonist take the Buddhist beads she gave, which can be regarded as a little compensation for her any regrets. The male protagonist was very surprised, and he shouted, "Are you YN? Where did you buy this sandalwood bead? I heard that it was going to be auctioned before, but when I really asked, I said that it had been auctioned off. I didn't expect that you would consecrate it for me. Thank you, RUYN. You always know what I like most." I saw a trace of inexplicable emotion flashing in Liu RUYN's eyes. I couldn't see it clearly, but I heard her suddenly murmur, "It was prepared by Ito Makoto." "Then I must thank Ito Makoto very much. By the way, where is our Makoto? Why didn't he come with you?" the male protagonist asked in surprise. He Liu and suddenly lost her voice and didn't say a word for a long time. "What's wrong? Did you quarrel?" the male protagonist asked with concern. "Ito Makito never gets angry with you. Did you do something to let him down?" Liu rarely refuted and remained silent. RUYN, Ito Makito is really the best person in the world to you. If you lose him, you will regret it for the rest of your life. The male protagonist was a little excited. The male protagonist is not bad. He is even very good. Because he owes the RUYN, he cares about me very much. He has always wanted to match me with you, RUYN. I have never seen a man who loves a woman so humbly to this extent, to the point that he knows the preferences of his rival in love clearly. The male protagonist said, a little angry, probably indignant for me. RUYN, how much does Ito Makoto love you to tolerate you having another man in your heart, to tolerate your endless kindness to another man, and even to help you treat him well? Yes, how much tolerance should be given? I don't know. At the beginning, it should be to be able to stay by you RUYN's side, so I would cater to all her preferences. Over time, it became a habit. A little longer, it's like love is blind, blindly giving for her, blindly doing everything that can make her happy. RUYN, don't be stubborn. The male protagonist said earnestly, "Don't wait until you really lose her to regret it. Ito Makoto deserves your sincere treatment." Then the male protagonist put the string of sandalwood beads that Liu RUYN gave him back into the gift box and gave it back to Liu RUYN. "I have really liked this string of beads for a long time, and I am very grateful for your efforts for me. But this string of beads does not belong to me. It should belong to Ito Makoto." Liu RUYN looked at the Buddhist beads in her hand in silence. "I wanted to thank Ito Makoto in person today, and I also prepared a gift for him." The male protagonist took a small box from the female protagonist and opened it. "This is the tie clip that Ito Makoto has been looking at when I asked him to accompany me to choose a suit last time. The tie clip is not very expensive, but he can't bear to buy it." Liu RUYN looked at the golden eye clip in the male protagonist's hand. "In fact, I don't like this eye clip, but because very similar to a hairpin of Liu RUYN, I selfishly want to match it with her as a couple. It seems that from the moment I was selected as a strategist, all of me is Liu RUYN, and I have no self at all." "Ito Makoto didn't ask you to buy it for him, right?" the male protagonist asked Liu RUYN. Liu RUYN's body stiffened for a moment, then nodded. "You have been with Ito Makoto for so long, have you ever given him a gift? You usually eat very luxuriously, but what about Ito Makoto? I really haven't seen him wearing a piece of branded clothing." The male protagonist felt more and more sad for me. "Even if he doesn't work to make money, he is your boyfriend. He is willing to take care of everything at home for you regardless of worldly views. How can you bear to treat him like this? How can you bear to let him live so aggrieved?" Liu RUYN pursed her lips tightly, obviously suppressing her emotions, and said in a low voice, "He has never asked me for anything." Liu RUYN did not lie. I really did not ask her for anything. She is not stingy, but she just can't think of being nice to me, so I feel more distressed for Ito Makoto. He loves so humbly and so carefully, but you just take it for granted. Ito Makoto is also a person, and his silence does not mean that his heart will not hurt. The male protagonist said deeply. I saw you RUYN's fingers holding the gift box, trembling slightly. Was it because the male protagonist hated her that she felt a little uncomfortable? RUYN. The male protagonist called her seriously. Go back now and apologize to Ito Makoto. The birthday party will last until the evening. I hope you can come with him. Liu Rui and stood there motionless, reluctant to leave. It was not easy to get a chance to see the male protagonist. How could she bear to leave? What's more, it was for someone as insignificant as me. I just watched her hesitate for a long time. Are you YN? The male protagonist was a little angry, really hating iron for steel. Okay, you YN agree. She was afraid of making the male protagonist unhappy, so she would never refuse his request, even if she was unwilling. I followed Liu YN out to the birthday party. She returned to her and sat in the driver's seat. She didn't drive away for a long time. She was just so reluctant. When I thought she would just give up and come up with an excuse to go back to the male protagonist's birthday party, she started the car and drove back home. She drove very slowly along the way, which was in stark contrast to when she came, just like her mood at the moment. She was passionate before, but now she is frustrated. After a while, Wine returned to the villa. As soon as she returned to the villa, she saw several people carrying an ice coffin in. What's going on? Liu Wine roared. The housekeeper rushed out. Understand, mister. His body. Are you addicted to acting? Liu Wine cursed. The housekeeper didn't dare to speak. He probably didn't expect Liu Wine to come back so early. According to previous practice, it takes at least a whole day to see the male protagonist. Where is Ito Makoto? Liu Wine asked. Still in the basement. And went straight to the basement. This time she didn't stand at the door again, but walked directly to my body. The hand probe on my body was gone. It should have been untied by the housekeeper. After all, I was dead, so what was the use of the hand probe? I saw Wyatt standing in front of my body, looking down at my blue face and my stiff body. Tomakoto. She called me, her voice still cold. I'll say it again. Get up by yourself. I won't blame you for the past, she said to my body. I left. Did she think I could still pretend to be dead? Or did she threaten me casually that I would get up and please her even if I died? Ito Makoto, Liu Wyan's voice was loud, echoing in the basement. The housekeeper couldn't help but say, Mister. He is really dead. He won't die. Wyan said stubbornly. How could a good person die? The housekeeper was silent. He probably didn't know either. After all, my hands and feet were tied, and it was impossible for me to commit suicide, and I didn't have any external wounds on my body. Ito Makoto, don't you want to marry me? Liu Wyan's eyes were fixed on my body. Yes, I want to marry her. Once, after a passionate love affair, Liu Wyan buried her head in my neck for a long time. I knew that she was really satisfied at that moment, so I plucked up the courage and whispered in her ear, Wyan, let's get married. That sentence directly made a lifetime of passion disappear. She left me exuding a cold breath and said, Ito Makoto, don't push it. Didn't you say that you would try to like me? I whispered. Once she came back drunk from the social event, I wiped her body and poured her honey water and waited for her to drink it. She suddenly looked at me, transmixed with deep affection, and she said, Ito Makoto, I decided to try to like you. I have always kept this sentence in my heart. I thought I really waited for the clouds to clear and the moon to shine. But at this moment, she told me coldly, I don't like you at all now. My heart hurts as if it was twisted by someone, and it's hard to breathe. After that, Liu Wyan ignored me for a long time, and I never dared to overstep the line, never dared to say such words again. Wyan continued, Ito Makoto, congratulations, you succeeded. I decided to marry you. I couldn't help laughing. I was dead, but she said she wanted to marry me. That really didn't have a trace of emotional fluctuations, and even felt that she was telling a joke, a big joke. Get up, don't pretend. Her voice was much gentler, and she said patiently, let's go buy wedding rings now and choose suits and wedding dresses. I took back the Buddhist beads you asked me to give to Song Chen. You can wear it at the wedding. It is really precious. Song Chen also gave you a tie clip. He said it was what you like. What do you like? Suits, watches, bout eyes, tie clips, limited edition sneakers. Take advantage of this marriage. You can buy whatever you want. She said a lot to my corpse, as if I was not dead. I was just throwing a tantrum with her, and she was coaxing me. It was really unprecedented. She was so humble to me. Can I not regret it? At least she was not so indifferent to me. Or maybe I thought too much. You are UY and was just trying to satisfy the male protagonist requirement. Miss, the housekeeper couldn't stand it anymore. He said, Mister, he is really dead. He won't marry you. Shut up, Liu Wei, and suddenly became angry. Her eyes turned red and she yelled at the housekeeper. The housekeeper was so scared that he dared not breathe. Makoto will not die. He can't die. You are Yuan said stubbornly. We haven't married yet. He hasn't really got me yet. How could he be willing to die? The housekeeper didn't dare to speak, but silently handed Liu Yuan a diary. Liu Yuan's eyes moved slightly. What is this? This is Mr. He's diary. The housekeeper replied. I found it by accident when I went to pack Mr. He's things today. I looked at the diary and my soul was rippling. After coming to this world, sometimes I feel lonely and sometimes I can't bear the pain in my heart. So I choose to write a diary to vent, adjust my emotions, and then stay in the best state. I was not going to face you or and with a different attitude. But I don't want you or to see it now. Liu Yuan's fingers moved slightly and she opened my diary with trembling hands. On April 4, 2016, I accidentally entered a book today. A system in it told me that it had chosen me as a conqueror among the dead. As long as I succeeded in conquering, I could live again. If I failed, I would die again. On April 10, 2016, I met the person I wanted to conquer. She looked very unhappy. She had everything, but she was so lonely that it seemed like she was the only one left in the world. I suddenly felt a little distressed, which reminded me of my previous life. I was also so lonely in my previous life. When I was born, my father was crushed to death by a truck in order to come back to see me. My whole family blamed me for my father's death. My mother hated me, and my grandparents hated me even more. I grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother is the most lonely person in this world. She was the best person to me, but when I was in the second grade of junior high school, my grandmother was hit by a car and killed while trying to bring me food. When she died, she was holding tightly in her hand my favorite dish of braised pork and potatoes. After my grandmother died, people around her said that I was a disaster star and that I would bring death to my whole family. Because I was still a minor at that time, under the pressure of the law, my mother had to take me back to her home. She was married to an uncle who had a son who was 5 years older than me. My uncle and my mother also had a son, and they focused all their attention on this younger brother. They didn't know that my uncle's son had been harassing me frequently. Once I couldn't bear it any more and told my mother. My mother slapped me in the face and said, "You are a man. Do you think you are good looking? He would harass you? A man, do you know? Do you know how difficult it is for us to support you now? Can't you be considerate of me and let me worry less?" After that, I never dared to say anything again. No matter how I was bullied, I endured it until I was admitted to university and left this home. But after graduating from university, my brother suddenly appeared again. He was like a devil, asking me to give him money to spend and harassing me constantly. I endured it for 2 years and finally couldn't help but call the police. My brother was arrested, and I didn't expect that after my mother knew about it, the first thing she did was to beat and scold me, calling me shameless, ungrateful, and heartless, and she forced me to ask the police to let my brother go. I was frustrated and had no desire to live, so I jumped from the top floor in front of my mother and was smashed to pieces. I don't want to recall the past anymore. Every time I think about it, it's like a nightmare. Even if I would be terrified, even if I died. Today is the last time. From now on, I will start over and start a new life with this woman named Liu Yuan. Will she accept me? On April 16, 2016, I went for plastic surgery. The system was not too bad. On the day I came here, I was given a sum of money. I used the money to make myself look like Liu Yuan liked. The plastic surgery process was painful, but I don't regret it. Do I still feel like I have been reborn? On July 20, 2016, my face finally recovered. I was 60, similar to Song Cheng, which should be enough. I went to Yuan's company and then deliberately rushed out when she was driving and fell under her car. It was painful when I was hit by her, but looking at the look in her eyes, I felt that everything was worth it. On July 30, 2016, I was discharged from the hospital today, and I followed Liu Ruy into her villa as I wished. Only when I really lived with her did I know how much she liked Song Sheng. She even took antidepressant and anti-anger drugs for Song Sheng, and she even self-harmed for Song Sheng. At that moment, I could really empathize with her. In order to endure my brother's harassment of me, I also used self-harm to restrain my pain. I held her tightly in my arms. I believe that one day she will come out and she will live a new life with me. April 4, 2017, I have been in this world for a year without knowing it. I have not touched Liu Yuan's heart. He still loves Song Chang very much. October 3, 2017, today is Liu Yuan's birthday. I made a cake for her by myself. I waited for her all night, but she didn't come back. Later, I learned that she sat at the door of Song Cheng's house all night. She wanted Song Cheng to accompany her on her birthday, but she was afraid of disturbing Song Cheng. April 4, 2018, 2 years have passed, and Liu Yuan still doesn't like me. On July 13, 2018, Liu Yuan often had stomach aches because she worked too hard and didn't eat on time. I started to deliver meals to her every day and cook her favorite meals in different ways. Every time I saw her finish the meals I made, I felt satisfied and warm. This gave me a sense of home, as if we had truly become a family. I really wanted to be with her, not just for the task, but also for the emotion. On April 4, 2019, 3 years later, Liu Yuan still loved Song Cheng. The system reminded me every day, what can I do? I really tried very hard. On February 15, 2020, I really fell in love with Liu Yuan. When I saw her with Song Cheng, and when I saw the look in her eyes when she looked at Song Cheng, I felt heartbroken. In fact, difficult to fall in love with Liu Yuan, and there is no need to be surprised. She is my salvation, the only ray of sunshine in my gloomy life, and it is she who gave me the opportunity to live again. I also want to be her salvation and help her get out of the pain of love. I want to form a home with her, a warm home, and we can have many children. It's note on Christmas Day, December 25, 2020. I was thrown on the street by Liu Yuan because Song Cheng and Wo had a quarrel, and Liu Yuan wanted to comfort Song Cheng as soon as possible. I had no money on me, and my mobile phone was forgotten in her car. I walked home and froze into a block of ice. The moment she saw me, she was a little surprised, but still chose indifference. I also kept silent. I didn't blame her. I knew she was also very uncomfortable now because Song Cheng would only throw himself into Wo's arms, and she would only be hurt when she came back from Song Cheng. April 4, 2021, 5 years have passed. Should I give up? But I don't want to. Not only don't want to die, but also want to really be with her. April 4, 2022, I haven't written a diary for a year. Maybe there's really nothing to write. After all, it's been 6 years, and I still haven't conquered Liu Yuan. I put my feelings on the line, but I still didn't succeed. June 19, 2022, Liu Yuan got drunk, and she suddenly said that she would try to love me. In the last year, I finally moved her. System, I'm almost successful. On October 13, 2022, I fell into the sea to save the hero. Wo and Liu Yuan both went to save him, and I almost died. After waking up, Liu Yuan was by my side. The system said that she had been with me all the time during the days I was unconscious, and she didn't leave me. I was actually a little excited, and even forgot that it was because she left me that I almost suffered misfortune. March 20, 2022, although Liu Yuan rejected my marriage proposal, I could feel that she actually treated me differently than before. She thought of Song Chang less and less, and she was used to me being by her side. The system said that there were still 15 days left. As long as Liu Yuan was no longer affected by Song Cheng and no longer took the initiative to look for Song Cheng during this period, I would be considered successful in my strategy. Once I was determined to be successful, I could live forever, and in this world, I would grow old, get sick, and die normally like other people. I am looking forward to the arrival of this day, and I am looking forward to the future of Liu Yuan and me. The diary ended with this article. I saw Yuan's tears falling down. Would she still feel a little guilty about me? Surprisingly, I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. I might have felt distressed before, but now I'm indifferent, as if I was looking at an insignificant person. Maybe when people die, they really don't care about anything, and they can really let go of everything in their lives in an instant. Now, I hope I can leave Liu Yuan, even if I become a lonely soul in contented reincarnation. I don't want to stay by her side anymore. Miss, I am inconsolable. The housekeeper mustered up the courage to speak again. Perhaps he had served Liu Yuan for so many years and had never seen her cry, so he felt a little reluctant. Get out! Liu Yuan ordered coldly. The housekeeper looked at her. I told you to get out. Liu Yuan was furious. Then, Mr. Yi's body. The housekeeper left, and when he left, he kindly closed the basement door for Liu Yuan. I saw Yuan squatting down, finally bowing and kneeling in front of me. Her slender fingers approached my face, and her fingers trembled slightly. I don't know what she would feel like touching my cold and stiff body, but her hands were always on my face, describing my facial features bit by bit. And then she cried out, and the suppressed voice kept echoing in the claustrophobic basement. Looking at her appearance, I just felt funny. The belated affection was cheaper than grass. I was so indifferent, I watched her crying heartbreak while holding my body. I don't know how long she cried, until she almost fainted. I always thought that only men would be like this when they were sad, but it turns out that women can be like this too. I just don't understand. She ignored me when I was alive, and now that I'm dead, who is she acting like this for? Itumakutum. She called me, calling me affectionately one by one, as if she was calling out to the person she loved deeply. Itamekako itamakto, wake up. Itamakao, wake up. Itametoto, don't sleep. Let's get married, okay? Whatever kind of wedding you want, I'll agree to it, and I'll never like Song Cheng again. I only like you, okay? Itomekto, don't leave me alone. How can I live without you? Listening to Liu Yuan's words, I really thought I was hallucinating. I know she would feel guilty. Even if she raised a dog after so many years of affection, she would feel a little sad after death, not to mention that I'm still a living person. But I really didn't expect that she would suddenly become like this, as if she had changed into a different person and suddenly became so affectionate to me. Hasn't she always reserved such feelings for the male protagonist? Ito Mikoto, Ito Mikoto. Her voice calling me kept echoing in the basement. People who don't know would really think that she had lost her beloved. I floated in the air, just bored and watching Liu Yuan crying over my body for a whole night. Even when the male protagonist called, she didn't answer. In the morning, the housekeeper walked into the basement, probably because he was afraid that Yuan would die inexplicably. Miss, if Mr. Mi's body is not put in the ice coffin, I'm afraid it will rot. The housekeeper had to remind me. In fact, I looked at my body, and it was indeed rotting little by little. Yuan's eyes moved slightly. She had been kneeling in front of my body, and she didn't react much when she heard the sound. Put it in, Yuan said, suddenly calm. Was it enough to be sad for a night? I watched her get up from the ground. Her body was a little unstable. The housekeeper hurriedly supported her. Yuan pushed the housekeeper away and turned to walk out of the basement door without any nostalgia. Her deep affection is really great. Miss, do you need to prepare a funeral for Mr. He? The housekeeper asked hurriedly. No? Then cremate it directly? No. Yuan's voice was a little louder. What should I do then? The housekeeper was at a loss, and I didn't know what she was going to do. Put it in the ice coffin, don't move? Yuan left after saying this. So what is Yuan going to do? Well, I have no place to rest even if I die. I followed her back to her study, and she called her assistant, prepare a wedding for me right away. For whom? The assistant was surprised. For me, you are you, Wyan said irritably. It's at the villa. After that, she hung up the phone angrily and then started to make calls frantically, asking everyone to come to her wedding tomorrow. I was thinking, is you are you, Wyan crazy? Her wedding, whose wedding is she with? Sung Cheng, I'm getting married tomorrow. At that moment, I saw her calling the male lead. So soon? The other side was very surprised. Has Ito Makoto forgiven you? I said, he is the best person in the world to you, and you must not make her angry again. She is really good. You are you, Wyan said faintly. I thought about what she would say next, but no matter how good she is, she can't compare to you. As a result, you are you, Wyan hung up the phone. So she planned to give herself another chance and give herself a wedding before the male protagonist got married? After Liu, Are You Wyan finished the call, she left the villa without stopping for a moment. I watched her pick out a suit, a dress, a wedding dress, and a ring, and then came back and asked someone to change me into a suit while I was lying in the ice coffin. I rubbed my illusory eyes. I was afraid that I was wrong. The Urui was going to marry me. I was dead, and she was going to hold a wedding with a dead person. I couldn't even imagine what a terrifying scene it would be with so many guests tomorrow. Urui was really crazy. However, the next day, the wedding was not canceled. Many people came to the villa, including the male and female protagonists. The male protagonist was very happy. He walked towards Liu Yuan, who was wearing a white wedding dress, and asked, Where is Ito Makoto? Why are you welcoming guests so alone? Liu Yuan bit her lips and looked at a corner of the hall, which was surrounded by flowers. If you didn't pay attention, you couldn't see the ice coffin there. Is Ito Makoto over there? The male protagonist asked. Liu Yuan nodded. The male protagonist hurried over, followed by Yuan, and the other guests also walked over together. As soon as I went over, there was an uproar at the scene. Everyone was shocked by the way I was lying in the ice coffin. Are Yuan this? What's going on, Itomakotohi? The male protagonist couldn't believe it. Yeah, you are Yuan responded, and the words, he's dead, weren't ever said. The male protagonist couldn't believe it at all. Why is it so sudden? Was he fine before? Other people also started talking, and one of them really couldn't understand. Since he's dead, why do you want to marry him? You are you, Wyan gave a fierce look, and the man didn't dare to speak. Only the male protagonist was qualified to speak at this time. Are you Wyan? Why did you do this? Because you are you, Wyan said word by word. Ito Makoto wants to marry me. I almost vomited blood in the air. Can I say that I want you to eat shit now? I am dead. I just want to be buried in peace after death. I don't want to accompany you to do these fancy things. The male protagonist was silent for a long time and finally said nothing more, and others didn't dare to say anything more. The wedding was held like this, one person and one corpse. The host asked you, Are you Wyan, Miss Zhang? Are you willing to marry Mr. Ito Makoto as your wife? Regardless of poverty, wealth, old age, illness, and death, you will never leave him, love him forever, protect him, until death separates you. I do. Liu, Yuan said, and added, Death cannot separate us. I laughed. So you want to die with me? According to the ceremony process, the host asked this sentence again to my corpse. Yuan replied, He does. I don't want to. Don't ruin my reincarnation. Yuan put a ring on my ring finger and then bent down to kiss my body. I felt nauseous. The ceremony was over, and I thought this farce was going to end. Even if I became a ghost, I felt extremely embarrassed. At this time, I saw several policemen suddenly walk into the villa. The guests were a little panicked and didn't know why. Yuan was very calm and watched the policeman walk towards her. Who called the police? Yuan said, I killed someone. The whole audience was stunned, and I was also confused. Who did you kill? Ito Makoto. She pointed to the ice coffin next to her. The police took a look and said seriously, Let's go back to the police station. Yuan was taken away in public at the wedding. She admitted at the police station that she killed me, but she regretted it, so she called the police. The police dissected my body and did not find any direct fatal wounds. In the end, it was determined to be acute cardiac death. Therefore, Liu Yuan did not constitute the crime of murder, but only the crime of accidental homicide, and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. This means that my soul will follow her in prison for a full 7 years. I thank you for your 8 generations of ancestors. If you want to die with me, you can commit suicide. Who are you disgusted by playing such a show? I spent 7 years in prison with Liu Yuan and in such a boring way. In these 7 years, I witnessed all the embarrassment of Liu Yuan. I thought she should regret it, bury me well, and live her own life. Isn't it good? She had to suffer this kind of punishment, and the key is that she also implicated me. After Liu Yuan was released from prison, she went directly to my grave. She knelt in front of my grave, looked at my tombstone, and stroked the black and white photo on my tombstone. Hitomi Koto, I'm sorry I'm late, she said, her voice calm, as if she was apologizing to me. I thought I would be shot directly. Liu Yuan paused, choking a little. It doesn't matter, I will never leave you again. I will accompany you now. I saw her take out a knife and slide it heavily on her wrist, and blood splattered all over the ground. She seemed to feel no pain, and there was still a smile on the corner of her mouth. I floated in the air, watching her every move indifferently. Maybe after a person dies, there will really be no more feelings. I watched her commit suicide, just like watching a TV series. The only thing that was not good was that she didn't die farther away. She dirtied my grave. But fortunately, the system said that if the person who was captured died, my soul could rest in peace. So, now that Liu Yuan is dead, can I reincarnate normally? I have been looking forward to it. I saw Liu Yuan fall to the ground and then die completely. At the moment of death, my soul was sucked into something like a black hole, and I heard the familiar voice of the system in my ears. Congratulations, you can finally reincarnate normally. See you next time.